With the MLB season being officially over, everyone who is eligible to become a free agent is officially a free agent. And we got a lot to talk about here. What's going on, guys? It's the King of 161st Street. I'm back with another video, and the Texas Rangers win the 2023 World Series. And one major proponent of that World Series win is Jordan Montgomery, the guy we traded away in 2022. A lot of people are saying we should bring him back. We shouldn't have gotten rid of him in the first place. And let me get this off my chest real quick. I get that revisionist history is a real thing. A lot of people see what he did in this postseason and now think hindsight's 2020. We shouldn't have made that trade. And you know what? If you have that opinion, fine. But can we please stop acting like in 2022, when we traded him away, everyone was having this same opinion that Jordan Montgomery's this untouchable figure we needed to keep on this roster because he's a true number two. It's not true. We were not defending this guy the way Yankees fans seem to be trying to defend him right now. They seem to be going back and being like, we always knew this trade would come back to bite us. No, we didn't. I'll take you back to 2022 trade deadline. The Yankees are coming off of a first half of that 2022 season, which is one of the best first halves of a season of all time. Multiple 10-game winning streaks, on pace to win 122 games. One of the only issues was the back end of our rotation. The thought was we get Montas at the deadline, trade for a guy to help with injuries in the outfield, and then we'll be okay. So we did that. We went and we got Harrison Bader for Jordan Montgomery, a guy that everyone kind of knew where he stood at the time. His ceiling was a number 3 starter on a really good team. That's probably what he was supposed to be in Texas. That's what he really was in St. Louis. When that trade happened, he sucked. He sucked with St. Louis. Over 5 ERA. Didn't really win. That trade was looking really good for us because Harrison Bader came back for the postseason. Had one of the better postseasons we've seen before this season with Adolis Garcia. That was Harrison Bader last year. So this trade looked really good for us. And then 2023 came around. We all know the story. We didn't make the postseason. Harrison Bader waived in August. So I'm seeing these fans coming out of the woodwork, being like, I always knew this trade would come back to bite us. We have to get him back in free agency. And look, do I think it's a good idea to get Jordan Montgomery in free agency? Yes. Do I think that we made a mistake trading him in the first place? No. And no one thought that at first. Hindsight's always 2020. It wasn't a mistake to trade him. We needed outfield depth. Yes, Harrison Bader was coming off of an injury, but with how he came out of that injury, starting off really well, and then going into the postseason, absolutely murdering the Guardians, and then almost slugging his way to an ALCS win, even though we got swept in that series, he was the main catalyst for us staying in every single game of that series. He was the main guy. Let's not revise what history was. That was not a failure of a trade on the Yankees' part. It was a transaction kind of worked out in our favor because he sucked with St. Louis, ended up having to be traded to Texas, wasn't expected to do shit. This postseason, he's doing amazing. And the one quote is coming out where Brian Cashman was like, yeah, we didn't expect him to be on our postseason roster. Now, is that a little insane to say? Yeah, he probably, if he was still on the Yankees, probably would have made the postseason roster and probably would have pitched some very key games. But to say he was going to be a main piece on a postseason roster, a guy that was going to be an X factor. If I asked you that in June of 2022, no one would have said yes. Of course, now in November of 2023, heading into the 2024 season, after the Texas Rangers win the World Series, now we'll say he probably should have been. 2022 is not 2023. Jordan Montgomery is not the same pitcher now that he was back then. So let's stop the narrative that this was always a bad trade for the Yankees. and that we kind of lost our way and didn't make the playoffs this year because we didn't have Jordan Montgomery. It's all nonsense. Let's get back into the positive. Yes, we should signing Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery this postseason proved that in a role where he has to be extended deep into games, he can give you quality innings against some of the top offenses in baseball and not give up anything. This is the type of performance we needed to see that there's a higher ceiling for Jordan Montgomery. And now we know, yes, there is a ceiling above what he showed here in New York. Because let's be honest again, what he did in New York before this postseason was his ceiling. He was not much better than what he was in New York in either St. Louis or Texas. Now we see there's finally a step above. And having him in the back half of our rotation instead of a Severino, instead of a Montas, that could be huge for this rotation. We didn't think of it at the time because he didn't prove it. He's finally proven it. Jordan Montgomery should probably be slotted in there at the bottom half of our rotation. This could be one of the deepest rotations in baseball. If you have a Rodon that's healthy, a Cy Young Gerrit Cole, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, along with Jordan Montgomery on the back end, this rotation looks scary as hell. And then you have Michael King going in at the 5. That rotation sounds nasty. A little unrealistic, but nasty nonetheless. I'm just excited to get this free agency started with. I hope you guys are excited too, because I will be right here covering everything to do with free agency, not even just Yankees free agency. I will be covering every single team's free agency signings, at least the major ones. So I hope you're along for the ride. Hit that sub button if you are. We're on our way to 500 subs. We're on our way to 1,000 subs and beyond. Help me get there. Hit that sub button. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.